Welcome to the Phoenix Unscripted. This is a sacred space between seasons. Here you'll get unplanned, unpolished reflections from my real life. We aren't teaching or fixing anything here, just sitting with truth and being with our hearts and our bodies together. So settle in, take a breath as we sit beside the fire and reflect. Hey y'all, welcome to the Phoenix Unscripted. I'm glad you're here. I'm a little hoarse today, fighting off a little bit of a head cold, but that's kind of the thing about these in between seasons. Like I'm showing up as I am. I'm a little chilly, got a hoodie on, just here. I'm here, and I've been working on some podcast episodes for you all today, and I'm I love this work so much. I hope you can feel that. Just I love getting to share these interviews, and I was recording and or not recording, I was editing and posting the interview with Lindsay Hastings, my dear friend of mine, and that was episode 15. If you haven't listened to that, please go back and listen to it. But we were talking about infertility journeys and just about reclaiming joy and as adults. Anyway, listening to it back today like really invigorated me. It was so it was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what I needed. And this episode that I'm sharing with you today is no exception. I actually was scrolling through my voice memos over the last kind of like 6 months to find one to post for you today. And I found one. I found one from November of 2025 that I wanted to share with you. And it's funny because I think I already had made the decision that I was going to be doing the podcast. So I was speaking like as if this was going to be a podcast episode. So that's kind of nice, right? But a lot of these voice memos that I share during these in between seasons, they were unplanned, and I was kind of talking to somebody, but not necessarily thinking about you as my listener of the Phoenix Perspective podcast. I have voice memos that have gone back since 2017 that I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them that I have recorded. And some of them are private, some of them are for me, but some of them I'm going to be sharing with you because I because they were meant to be shared. And so while I was looking through the voice memos that I was going to share, I found this one. And I titled it when I created it, I titled it The Voice of Gaia. And it's really an important reflection of a part of our purpose here as human beings and the deep connection that we have with this planet. And during this beautiful sunrise, one chilly November morning, I share I share some things. I share some things that I really saw in my own, reflecting on my own life and where I was at the moment, as well as reflecting back humanity and how serious we get about all the shit, all the things that we're doing all the time, of living in this society that is very busy and lives by the clock and hustle, 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 go, 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 right? So I won't share too much. I want you to be able to discover the conversation with me, but I do want you to know that these unscripted episodes are deeply personal to me. It's kind of like you getting a kind of a glance into my journal, and they're very vulnerable, but also they're they're liberating too. I think when we share these kind of vulnerable pieces with us, then people are able to see. I believe that we see ourselves through other people's stories and insights. And my hope is that I share these pieces and that maybe you feel inspired to share pieces of yourself with other people around you too. Yeah, maybe it's not about starting a podcast unless that's something that, has been on your heart, or writing a book, or starting a business. It's not about any of that. It's about just showing up with authenticity, and these feelings that we have, these deep insights that we have, or giving ourselves space to even entertain them, and then sharing those with the people that are around us, or sharing them with the ether, out on the interwebs, in hopes that we find our tribe, and that we help inspire others. And I think that ripple effect is really powerful. So that's why I created the Phoenix Unscripted episodes. And if you like these episodes, then shoot me an email. Let me know. Email me phoenixperspectivepod@gmail.com, or just drop a comment on this video. Um, if you're watching on YouTube, then I'd like, let me know you like this. I want to bring the content that is meaningful to you and that is impacting you. And if there's a way that, something is uplifting you, or it feels, right for the time, then I love those reflections back as well, because that helps me in this very beginning stage. I'm just wrapped up season one, about to start season two of the Phoenix Perspective podcast. And it helps me to also know that what I'm bringing is also supporting you. Either way, though, whether you decide to comment or not, know that my intention is always to bless and inspire you and help you feel not so alone in a very challenging, crazy world. It's always my intent. And I just want you to know that you are so loved. And I love you, friend. I love you, friend, so much. And you are so treasured here, whether we've met or not. I treasure your presence here. So this is not a video. It is just an audio recording. Like I said, it's a voice memo from my phone. So, it'd be a great thing to listen to maybe while you go for a walk, or to listen to while you're, cleaning, or even just sipping a cup of tea. And I pray that you receive with love and openness, and maybe a little curiosity, as we explore this topic of purpose, and purpose of ourselves and purpose of humanity. Love you all, and please enjoy this Phoenix Unscripted episode. I'm sitting outside. It's morning. It's a chilly November morning, and we've been having a fire going the last couple of days. I wanted to come out and sit by the fire today. Asen's already on the bus, and Dan's at work, and I'm on day 33 today in my womb portal, just before my bleed. I expect that it'll start here anytime, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. It's fascinating though, because a lot of times I don't have any physical symptoms that my bleed is going to start. Not anymore. I used to. And there are still times when maybe I get a little bit of breast tenderness, or if I've really been going hard and not been taking care of myself, then I'll get cramps. or my moods will be shit or whatever. But usually now it's just energetically, like I know. As a person who is considers herself a pretty strong extrovert, I know when I'm heading into my womb portal. If you don't know what that is, what the womb portal is, at least this is what I call it, the womb portal. The womb portal is the transition between your luteal phase and your menstrual phase. And for me, it's about 24 to 48 hours. And sometimes it can be a little longer too. It just depends on how much my body and how much my spirit and my mind need solitude. A lot of times we dismiss this portal, we ignore the call inwards. And so that couple of days or even that day before our bleed starts, we can get really fucking shitty with the world. And yeah, there's some hormonal components to that, of course, but it's not just hormones. It's also energetics because you're both. You have your physical body and your energetic body. And when you are in your bleed phase, you're meant to turn inwards. It is your most inner space time. And if you don't honor that, then your body lets you know that you're not paying attention. I've learned now that I honor that space. And I used to, God, I used to. I used to ignore the fuck out of my womb portal. She was hollering, and sometimes she would just make me stop, right? With the worst cramps you could possibly think of. And I would have to not go to work, or I would go to work popping freaking Tylenol like it was candy because ibuprofen just wasn't doing it for me. Tylenol usually was what I took. And yeah, just, and then I would just grunt through it or whatever. But now I listen. Now I create space where I need space. And a lot of that is just retraining myself. Like I could be busy. I could go inside and do housework. I could go online and start doing some business stuff, planning my next talk, following up with past clients or whatever. Sure. Yeah. Like I could be doing those things. And one would argue that maybe I should be doing those things. But I know if I don't honor this portal, I'm going to be out for a week. And then what good am I to anybody? I think we forget how important it is to take time for ourselves. And yeah, I'd have to say I'm pretty privileged. I understand that. Like I understand that I'm privileged that have I have a paycheck that comes in because I served our country and they fucked up my body. So I get disability every month, right? Like I but I earned that paycheck, right? I paid the price of we call it like a 2-for-1 special. Like you age 2 years for every 1 year that you serve. It totally is like that. And so, there's that. And I have a partner who does a really good job. And I have the privilege of being able to stay home and start a business and start a podcast and do all these things that light me up. Right. I understand that privilege and I don't take it lightly. I get to decide what I do with my time. And also, I think that we tend to dictate our time and overextend ourselves beyond what what is necessary. That was the word I was looking for. Beyond what is necessary for the season that we're in. I came out here this morning to do some journaling and to enjoy the sunrise. I really wanted to see the sunrise. So I was like waiting for my coffee to brew. I'm like, come on, coffee. Because the sky was getting super, super beautiful. But I made it out here and I got to see lots of beautiful, I got to see the horizon on fire and this beautiful little stippled clouds that were lit up with beautiful oranges and salmons and just backdropped against, this kind of blue-gray color that happens before dawn. And it was amazing. I'm sitting here cuddled up in my little pink and pink and white and gray blanket next to a campfire, bundled up in my beanie and my hoodie and my little fingerless gloves and my warm coffee and my Bubba cup, watching the sunrise. Of course, what came through today was this observation of our role here on Earth. The cats are running around, playing, doing their thing. There's a few birds that are chirping. I hear the rooster across the field. It actually just crowed right now. It's like he knew. And, none of these animals could see and appreciate what I was seeing. Sure, they have their little things that they enjoy. I feel like there's a spirit and a knowing in each animal and plant and rock and everything that's here on all of Gaia's children all have her essence imbued in them. But we are the only ones who can stop and appreciate. We're the only ones. We're the only ones who can sit here and look up at the sky and say, wow, how incredible is that? Until we came along, Gaia would paint the sky every morning and every night. And there was no one there to see them. The leaves would change every fall. And there was no one there to appreciate the colors. Or how incredible it is to see a baby be born. Or the magic even of a fire. How magical is that? Like, have you ever just sat and looked at a fire? Thought how fucking cool it is? It's so cool. Like, it produces heat. It's got all these colors to it. Watching the embers change is really, really awesome. I just saw a piece of the log that was the ash part just fall. I love watching the logs change. But that's my point here. Is this world is so fucking cool. And we're the only ones who have the capacity to even see it. And then not only just see it, but express it. Think of how many sunrises and sunsets have been painted or taken a picture of. I probably have at least a few hundred or more pictures in my phone of the sunrises and sunsets I've seen since I've lived here on the farm in the cabin. The sunrises and sunsets here are absolutely stunning. We're out far enough from the city that there's nothing really blocking, right? We've got some trees, right? We have trees in our backyard. So the sun rises, we can really only see after the leaves fall. But the sunsets, we have a wide open space to watch the sunsets every day from the front of our house, from our front porch. How many songs have been written about the beauty of things, about love, about even the beauty of heartbreak? What if the whole point of us being us is for us to give voice to this planet, to the beauty, to the wonder, to the awe of life itself? What if that was our purpose? I know there's many, many other people that talk about the meaning of life, the meaning of purpose, why we're here, what's our purpose for existence, right? Like I feel like that's something that is a really common question, right? I mean, even the the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? The question is, what is the meaning of life? And the answer is number 42, okay? Right? Like that's my thing. It's like we have asked this question because I think there's a part of us that wants to remember why the fuck we're here. And I think we know. I think we just can't accept the answer. That it's so simple, right? Because we've grown up in a world, we have forgotten that just our very existence is enough. That when we sit there and watch a sunrise, that actually means we're enough because we're doing exactly what we are meant to do. And that is to embody peace, awe, and appreciation and gratitude. You know, as I sat here this morning, that's all I could feel. All I could feel was magnificence and peace and wonder. Even though I've seen a million sunrises and sunsets, even though I've seen so many different colors, but I've never seen a sunset quite like that or a sunrise quite like that before. That was a unique sunrise. I will never again see a sunrise like that. Yeah, they might be similar, but it's not going to have the exact same colors with where the leaves were on the trees and the exact position of the sun in this state, me sitting here in front of the fire, right? Like that is a unique moment in time that has never been and will never be ever again. And because I took fucking 10 minutes to sit here and watch it, I held the vibration in my body of life, of love, of appreciation, of wonder, of awe, of joy, of peace. You know, I came out here. Do you know I came out here to freaking journal on some freaking like heavy shit that I've been dealing with lately? That's what I came out here for. I even brought the journal out and I even started writing. And then I looked up at the sky and I was like, I can't even deny what I'm looking at right now, or what I'm feeling right now. I didn't want to miss the moment that was here, this gift that Gaia had just given me of this beautiful sunrise. of while I was sitting here belly aching about my quote unquote problems. Like, how absurd that felt for me in the moment. That felt super ridiculous. Like, what? Why are you stressing about all this shit, relationship shit, when you have this gorgeous sunrise sitting here right in front of you? It did. I felt silly. I felt silly. But not only because there was recognition there. Only because there was recognition of the gift that was present, the present that was presented to me by Gaia right here, right now. The present. And so my only job in the moment was just to accept it. Just to accept the gift. To hold the vibration, to hold the peace. And I don't know if there was anybody else who stopped and looked at the sunrise this morning. Maybe there was. Maybe I was the only one in 10 miles who actually looked up and sat there and felt it. But I choose to believe that that moment that I did was exactly what I was meant to do. It's amazing when we sit and think about. My cat wants to jump on my lap. Come on, baby. Come on, Cosmo. Come on, sweetie. Here you go. She likes coming over here and sitting in my lap next to the fire. What if this is all that we were meant to do? Or maybe it's the core of what we're meant to do, right? I believe that every single person has a mission, has something, right? I have something important. I'm here recording this podcast and then putting it out on the airwaves for you to listen. And if you're still here listening, then thanks, by the way. But yeah, like I feel like we all have things that we want to do, that we feel called to do beyond just sitting here looking at sunrises, okay? But all of the things, all of the pressures that we put on ourselves, what if we're meant to just hold a vibration and give voice to the magic of this planet? What if all the things that we think we have to do are just ways that keep us further away from what we actually were meant to do? Like, if we believed a story or the thought that we were here to be the witnesses of God, how would that change how we live our lives? I wrote this down. I wrote down, I said, there's that saying, like, as God is my witness. And I turned it on its head. I said, well, what if we were the witness of God? What if we were God's witnesses? Like, what if the whole point of us having the ability to make meaning of things and to feel appreciation and gratitude was to feel that, right? The fact that we have the capacity to feel those things tells me that we were maybe meant to, right? My cat, she's on my lap right now. There is a part of her that feels safe here in my lap, or else she wouldn't be in my lap, right? Cats are very, very protective of their energy. She feels safe in my lap. She's cleaning herself, right? Again, tells me that she feels safe. She doesn't feel under threat because a cat is not going to clean themselves unless they feel safe. And I know eventually she's gonna finish cleaning herself and then she's gonna curl up and she's gonna fall asleep. Now she feels safe. And we interpret that action of her being in my lap and her purring as affection. And to her capacity, for as much of capacity as she has, that is, right? But she doesn't have the capacity to sit here with me and watch the beauty of the sunrise or be like, God, these leaves are gorgeous. She doesn't have the capacity to show appreciation to me, just to express gratitude and say thank you. Like, maybe in her little cat way, there is a semblance of that. It's an essence of that, but it's not the same frequency. Appreciation is a very particular frequency. It's a very specific vibration. It's just like a radio station of, 98.2 FM, right? There is going to be a song that is playing on that station, on that radio, and it is going to be very particular to the geological or the geographic area that you are, which is going to be very different than 97.7. Even though we're pretty close to each other, 98.2, 97.7, right? They're relatively close to each other. But there are going to be different songs playing on those radio stations. Proximity does not work with like vibration and frequency. They align, there's resonance, right? But not the exact frequency. And so think about these things that I was just talking about. Think about the awe and wonder and appreciation, joy, love, peace. Those are all different frequencies. And those are frequencies that are unique to the human experience. Now, other things outside of us can generate those like frequencies in us. Like think about it. The trees, you go out in nature, you feel peace. You attune to the frequency of peace. But are the trees experiencing the peace? I don't think that's their role. They hold the space. They're the container for the peace. They aren't the ones generating it. Because you can go out into nature and you can generate another frequency. You could go out into nature and generate fear. You can go out into nature and generate loneliness. You and, you could take 10 people out into the woods and each and survey them when they come back out of the woods and ask them what they felt. And they will all have felt different experiences based on lots of different things. But they will all have had a different experience. Same woods, right? Same trees, literally nothing different. Same, maybe even the same sunrise. Like you could literally put people in my backwoods right here, watching that sunrise that I just watched. And every single person would have had a different experience than me, than each other. And I'm not saying anything is like good, bad, or indifferent in terms of their experiences. Like their experiences are theirs. But the energy that they carry out into the world after that is going to be reflective of what they were experiencing when they were in there. I know we kind of got a little deep here. And let's see if I can reel it back in. Because it's like I cast this, whoo! I cast my fishing reel, right? Of whatever's kind of coming through, and I just reel it in and reel it in, reel it in. And then I cast it out again, and there's something else I'm pulling in, pulling in, pulling in. Maybe our role as human beings is more simple than what we think. Maybe the purpose of our existence is not as complex as we like to make it. I'm not saying that every single one of us need to just be sitting here being yogis and just like holding frequency all day of love and peace and like looking at the sunsets. But I am always reminded of a quote from Albert Einstein. He said, "You either believe that everything is a miracle or that nothing is. And that's how you live your life." I'm paraphrasing, of course. Okay. I don't remember it exactly. Okay. If you want to give me the exact quote, drop it in the comments. Okay. But what I'm saying is, it's like you either treat everything in your life as a miracle and live your life that way, or like nothing is. I truly believe that is the difference between being conscious and being asleep. And we're not awake all the time. Sister God knows I am not. I am not by any stretch of the word awake all the time. I am not living that like, oh my God, everything is magical all the time. And I'm living it a lot more now than I used to. I have grown in that space. I have realized the magic that is all around me all the time. And it drives me to tears so much. I cry so much now. It's freaking insane. Even just watching a freaking documentary yesterday on Simone Biles, like 5 minutes into the documentary, I'm already tearing up because of the magic of this human being. Like, we could just blame it on the fact that I'm in my period portal, but also, when you live your life and you catch those moments of magic throughout the day, you feel, you tune into that frequency, you tune into that frequency of peace, of awe, of appreciation, of wonder, of surprise, of joy, of love. You tune into those frequencies so much more. And when you tune into those frequencies, it's funny because now suddenly everything lines up in your body. You don't feel so stressed even in stressful moments. You don't feel so angry even when before you would have lost your temper. Even when the teenager is coming home dysregulated. Okay? Even when the partner comes in and is having a hard time because something happened at work. Because you spent the day cultivating peace through your presence, right? This is essentially what we're talking about here is presence. You now hold a different frequency. You're tuned into a different frequency and you're holding that for everyone else around you. And now you're not contributing to the chaos. And as a woman in the house, as the feminine leader in your household, the heart leader, I use that term a lot, a heart leader. You I'm not saying that like, oh, this is your job and I have to add one more thing to your list, but what if what if that was more important than anything else? Was you just taking care of your frequency? You just caring for yourself in the way by by tuning into the magic that's around you. That's it. while you're doing the dishes or while you are, changing the baby's diaper or whatever. Like, it's not about the doings, it's about the being of who you are while you're in that moment, and recognizing that maybe the whole fucking point is for us to just tune in to the wonder that is available for us right now. I hope you got something from today. I feel like the transmission is complete. Whatever the fuck that means. Oh, I just mean that I think I will keep babbling on, and then this episode will never end. I love you, friend. I love exploring these things with you. I love that you're here asking these questions with me. I don't have all the answers. I'm just observing and reflecting, doing exactly what I was meant to do, and just ask the questions and propose what I'm seeing. I don't know. I'm sure there's a million other people who have lots of different views, but this is my view, my perspective, and what I see has changed my life. And that's all I can offer you. So if you feel like this particular episode resonated with you, got you thinking, got you tuning into your role here as a human being, and you think that there is someone else who might appreciate this conversation, could you do me a favor and send this episode to them? And don't just send it to them, like tell them why you sent it to them specifically. Like, I think sometimes we share things and we don't always tell them why we're sharing it, or at least give them context. But what a beautiful opportunity to create another connection with somebody else, to say, hey, I listened to this podcast and it really got me thinking about XYZ. And I thought of you when I was listening to it. I thought you would appreciate it too. I thought that this would resonate with you too. What a beautiful gift to give to a friend. It's like giving a gift with your heart. It's like wrapped in your beautiful little heart essence, and it's so sweet. Thank you so much for being here today, for tuning in to this Phoenix's perspective, so that way you can unlock your own. May you have a joyful, connected, vibrant, and magnificent day. Thank you for sitting beside the fire with me today. Even though we can't see each other, I feel honored to have shared sacred space with you. Before you go, take a moment and notice how your body feels. If this reflection offered you something meaningful, pass it along to someone you'd love to sit beside the fire with. We heal in circles, not alone. So until the next show, remember, you are so worthy of your vibrant life. And I'll see you next time.